So let's take a look at the visceral organs of the shark. This one is from the Rhizorhynchodon species. So I have already cut open the pleuroperitoneal cavity of the shark, where most of the visceral organs are located. Liver lobes. There's a this is the left liver lobe, and this is the right liver lobe. Okay. This one is the stomach. It is continuous with the esophagus up there, but unlike in the rabbit or in tetrapods in general, there's no clear external demarcation between the esophagus and stomach. You cannot simply base it on size because they have roughly the same diameter. Instead, you can differentiate the esophagus from the stomach based on histological characteristics. That means you have to cut open this. And one feature of the stomach is that it contains longitudinal folds if you open this up, called rugae. Whereas if you open up and see the mucosa of the esophagus, you'll see finger-like projections called papillae. And then pre-digested food will go to the small intestine. So as always, the first segment of the small intestine is the duodenum. It's a duodenum. This is the pyloric end of the stomach. As with the rabbit, there's a smooth muscle sphincter there, regulating the passage of chyme from the stomach to the small intestine. It's the pyloric sphincter. Continuous with the duodenum is still part of the small intestine, but it has a special name called the valvular intestine, named after its internal structure. When you open this up, there should be a spiral staircase-like structure there, which slows down the passage of food and practically increases the surface area for nutrient absorption. That's a spiral valve, and that's why it's called the valvular intestine. And there's a short, large intestine here leading to the cloaca, which is a common chamber for feces, urine, and sperm. So you see this finger-like organ here connected to the large intestine. That's the rectal gland of the shark. Only sharks have them. Rectal gland or digitiform gland. The spleen. Same function all throughout the vertebrate subphylum. It breaks down old red blood cells. But in the case of fishes, they can also participate in hematopoiesis, or creation of new blood cells. This white gland here is the pancreas, adjacent to the spleen. Take a look at underneath. There's another portion of the pancreas. Pancreas. There's a green sac there. Gallbladder stores bile, empties it into the duodenum. So this is a female shark. Take a look at its pelvic appendage. There's no clasper. You can also verify it by looking at what type of gonads it has. So on the back side, you'll see the kidneys. So that dark mass on the back side, retroperitoneally located, is the opistonephric kidney of the shark. So there are different types of kidneys amongst vertebrates. This is an opistonephros or mesonephric type of kidney. So that white line there is the oviduct, which has different segments. This expanded portion here is the nidamental or shell gland. As the name suggests, this secretes shell material enclosing the embryo. So all of these is the oviduct, but has different names depending on the region. This one is the nidamental or shell gland, and down here this would be the uterus. So this shark was not pregnant, but when there's a fertilized egg, the uterus is where the embryo will be gestated, because some shark species like the Rhizoprionodon are viviparous. Instead of laying eggs, they gestate or incubate their embryos inside their uterus and then give birth to live young. This is a male shark, pelvic claspers, liver, right lobe of the liver, left lobe of the liver. In this case, the male shark had eaten something, so its stomach is very much expanded. This entire thing is the stomach. And this should be the duodenum after the pyloric end. And this portion is the valvular intestine. And that should be the large intestine, very short, leading to the cloaca. So in this case, the stomach has occupied a significant portion of the pleuroperitoneal cavity. This huge white thing is its testes. So it's paired. Here's another testes there. So here's... Okay, this is complicated to explain. You should read this from your textbook, Hyman, Cardong, or Kent and Cara. But to summarize it, this entire thing should have been the kidney, right? Just like in the female shark. So this is the opisthenephros. But in male sharks, it's very much complicated by the fact that some portions of the kidney have been co-opted by the reproductive system. So they have different names. The anterior portion, this portion of the kidney, is actually reproductive in its function. It's not producing urine anymore. The caudal end of the opisthenephros, here, you see that dark mass there? That caudal portion of the opisthenephros is the only uriniferous portion of the kidney. So this is the legit kidney that produces the urine. Whereas this white anterior portion is the sexual kidney, because it doesn't function in excretion anymore, but rather reproduction. Okay, so the anteriormost end has been modified into an epididymis. So this anterior portion of the opisthenephros is the epididymis. So it receives the mature sperm produced by the testes. So sperm goes to the epididymis and then flows down into this coiled duct here. I don't know if you see the coiled structure. This one is the vas deferens or ductus deferens. Ductus deferens. And this expanded portion is the seminal vesicle. The back side, if you just move aside the vas deferens, there's this tissue here that is also part of the opisthenephros, but this time it has been modified into a Leydig's gland. So this is the Leydig's gland. All of these are Leydig's gland. So you see, it's very complicated. Originally, embryologically, this is the kidney. This entire thing is the kidney, but various portions of it has been modified into reproductive structures. The vas deferens was the mesonephric duct. In females, the mesonephric duct, you remember, carries the urine, but in males, the mesonephric duct is now a vas deferens carrying sperm.